Last week, Adarniya Shri Sir Supreme Leader Narendra Modi ji, first of his name, flew to the United States of America to meet his old friend Donald Trump. And as is tradition, American journalists got to ask some real questions to him. Then this happened.
Thank you, Mr. President. Can I ask whether you discussed at all today the case of Gautam Adani, who's one of the wealthiest men in Asia and perceived as an ally of Prime Minister Modi?
ऐसे व्यक्तिगत मामलों के लिए दो देश के मुखिया न मिलते हैं, न बैठते हैं, न बात करते हैं.
So Modi's favorite oligarch is a personal matter and it shouldn't be discussed between world leaders. Got it. So while our government and Godi media is busy celebrating this US visit as the best US visit ever, the reality is that India wasn't really negotiating as an equal partner here. This is a video about how the USA bullied India into submission. This is a video about how Narendra Modi probably chose to protect his favorite oligarch over the interests of the country. This is a video about whatever this is.
मागा प्लस मीगा तब बन जाता है मेगा पार्टनरशिप फॉर प्रॉस्पेरिटी.
On this, I have a bunch of thoughts. While Modi and Trump were busy shaking hands and doing their usual, oh, we are just best friends forever sort of routine, something else was happening back home. Another plane landed in Amritsar carrying a fresh batch of deported illegal Indian immigrants from the US. So far, 3 planes carrying Indian immigrants have landed in Amritsar. First was on February 5th, second on February 15th. This is coincidentally while Narendra Modi was in the United States of America, and the third one was on February 16th. India ranks third after Mexico and El Salvador in undocumented immigrants living in the US. Around 7.25 lakh people. Most of them left seeking better life for their families. Instead, they got detained, shackled, and dumped back into India like animals. No, I'm not exaggerating. Visuals came out of Indian citizens shackled in chains and being sent back to India in a US military aircraft. Reports indicate that immigrants are being detained into a seat for 40 hours on their way back home, denied toilet access, and even food. So since Trump's return to US presidency, which is less than a month ago, they have been sending out multiple planes to different countries like this, full of illegal immigrants in them. They sent planes to Colombia and Brazil as well. But both of the governments of these two countries have called out the US government for mistreatment of its own citizens, for violation of human rights. In fact, Colombian President Gustavo Petro sent one plane back saying that they will only accept people back into Colombia if they are sent back in a dignified way. He then made the presidential aircraft, which he uses himself, available to bring his people back. Our government can easily have done this, but they didn't. They clearly don't give a shit. In fact, when Prime Minister Narendra Modi was asked about immigration during the whole press conference, a rarity in itself, this was his response.
जहां तक भारत और अमेरिका का सवाल है, हमने हमेशा कहा है कि जो वेरीफाइड होगा, कि जो सच्चे अर्थ में भारत का ही नागरिक होगा, वो अगर अमेरिका में गैर कानूनी तरीके से रहता है, तो उसको वापस लेने के लिए भारत तैयार है. ये ह्यूमन ट्रैफिकिंग में जुड़े हुए पूरे इकोसिस्टम पर हमने वार करना चाहिए और अमेरिका और भारत मिलकर के हमारी कोशिश है और हमारी कोशिश रहनी चाहिए कि इस प्रकार की पूरी इकोसिस्टम को हमें जड़ मूल से नष्ट करना चाहिए.
Did you see what happened here? Did you? This is the first time that our government is even talking about human trafficking to the United States. Shah Rukh Khan made an entire movie on it and our government has not bothered to address the issue of this donkey system till now. Now that America is flexing its muscles, it has forced the Prime Minister to acknowledge this problem. Oh, also because for a change, he's actually getting real questions from real journalists. That's also one reason. Look, in my view, if citizens have to immigrate to America, they are free to do so, but they should do it legally. But it's worth asking, why are these people so desperate to leave in the first place? I don't blame people who want to get out of here and make a better life for themselves. I do blame the government for exactly three things. Number one, the government isn't exactly improving their lives here, which is forcing them to leave. Number two, human traffickers are thriving, exploiting our vulnerable citizens and their dreams, and it's the government's job to take care of it. But unless the American government took interest in it and asked them to do so, they did nothing. Third, and this is the worst of all, our government doesn't ensure dignity for its citizens, the ones that are getting deported from the United States. Given the general shit show we are witnessing, I wouldn't be surprised if Trump and his team don't use this to their advantage and arm twist India to get a better deal. Oh wait, has that already happened? I mean, sending 2 planes full of immigrants back to India at the exact time that Modi was visiting Trump, yeah, that looks like a solid diplomatic pressure tactic to get a better deal done, doesn't it? Speaking of better deals, let's talk about India has promised to pay top dollar for an outdated American war machine. During the summit, Trump proudly announced that India will buy more American military equipment, including the mighty F-35 jets. Sounds impressive, except it's not. The F-35 is the most advanced fighter jet in the world, just not for us. It's a little complicated. The US sells different tiers of its weapons depending on how trusted the country is. Allies like United Kingdoms and Australia, they get the best cutting edge versions because there is trust there. You know, white people. India, well, we get older version with software restrictions, and also the US is allowed to inspect to see how those weapons are being used in the battlefield as well. Even this deal isn't final yet. India is only considering the purchase of F-35s, which means we might end up going through the same drama as the Rafale deal. You know, price escalation, allegedly, secretive contracts, allegedly, and of course, PR spectacle which makes Supreme Leader the greatest person in the universe. No, that's true. Not allegedly. Oh yeah, and Rajnath Singh will get to put a coconut on the new plane as well. Obviously. But here is where it gets murky. The US originally refused to sell the F-35 fighter jets to us because we have Russian-made S-400 missile defense systems. These F-35 jets were specifically designed to evade that exact Russian air defense. Now, the US doesn't want India, and by extension Russia, to have too much knowledge about how the planes work. It's a weird situation for us. I mean, there is no denying that. But something changed, right? I mean, something changed which allowed the US to actually give us those planes. Are we planning to phase out these missile defense systems that we bought from Russia? Or is this whole thing just an on-paper deal which will materialize in like 5 years when F-35 is even more outdated than it already is? Oh, by the way, one reason might be that America's real president, you know, Elon Musk, he has called the F-35 the worst military value for money program in the history of America. Not that I take this dude too seriously, but if this is true, then it is basically just United States selling off outdated machinery to sucker countries which are still willing to buy them, like us. Yeah, are we the suckers here? Worth asking. We probably are. Because take a look at this. The US Government Accountability Office has this to say. The jets have often been stuck on the ground due to engine design flaws that cause the aircraft to overheat, damaging parts and boosting maintenance costs. This inability to stay in the air has made it more difficult to get pilots sufficient training in real life scenarios, which increases the likelihood of crashes and other costly accidents. If you think this is bad, well, I have 2 more issues to tell you about, and probably they're worse. Probably. Starting with So, while it seems like India is planning to buy some expensive warplanes, that is just one part of the strategic partnership that has been announced. Because while Modi was shaking hands with his friend Donald Trump, the US was shaking down India on trade. Get it? Shaking hands, shaking down. Sorry, never mind. Forget it. During the press interaction, Trump proudly declared that India's high tariffs are a big problem and that the US will impose reciprocal tariffs to fix this imbalance. Translation: Trump wants India to lower its import taxes on American goods, and while the US gets to keep its own trade barriers up. And guess what? India seems to be already complying with this. In this year's budget, India cut average tariffs from 13% to 11%. And with this new trade deal that has been announced, expect more reductions. In plain simple words, this benefits the United States more than it benefits India. Let's break it down. Number one, the US wants India to buy more American goods, oil, gas, and of course, overpriced weapons. Number two, India, in turn, has to lower taxes on imports, which is goods coming in from America. Number three, as a result, Indian taxpayers will end up losing money and the US corporations will end up making a killing. And that is probably one of the reasons why Elon Musk decided to do a meeting with Modi ji himself. They actually did a meeting, by the way, and it's so weird to look at this photo. Modi ji is there with his entire contingent of the ministry and Elon Musk is there with his family. What did they want exactly? Probably allowing imports of EV vehicles into India? I don't know. Maybe let's ask Modi ji.
था कि आपने एलोन मस्क के लिए पूछा है। देखिए, मेरा उनका बहुत पुराना परिचय रहा है। मैं प्रधानमंत्री भी नहीं था, जब मैं मुख्यमंत्री था तब से मेरा उनका परिचय है। और आज वो एक पूरे परिवार के साथ, बच्चों के साथ मिलने के लिए आए थे। और स्वाभाविक है कि एक पारिवारिक वातावरण में उनके साथ मेरी गपगोष्ठी हुई है। जहां तक डील का सवाल है, आपने जो प्रश्न पूछा है, मैं समझता हूं पूरी दुनिया में डील शब्द का कॉपीराइट एक ही व्यक्ति का है और उस व्यक्ति का नाम है ट्रंप।
See, there is a reason why the US is fixated on this deal. India is projected to import nearly $250 billion worth of American goods by 2030. That is a massive amount. To put it in perspective, that's more than the entire GDP of Bangladesh. So Trump's deal for India is basically reciprocal tariffs. Basically, they know that we need to import stuff from America, and India, turns out, is a big market for them because population. So America wants to sell to us while simultaneously making stuff that we want to sell in their market more expensive. Did you understand? Did samjha kuch? Okay, wait. It's something like this. Let's say India makes motorcycles and America makes apples. Right now, if an Indian company wants to sell motorcycles to the US, America charges a high import tax to make them more expensive for American buyers. Meanwhile, if an American company wants to sell apples to India, we also charge a high import tax to protect our local farmers. So, Trump is now saying, listen guys, this is unfair. You lower your tax on American apples. Okay, do it right now. We need parity. So India agrees, we drop our tax and suddenly American apples flood the Indian market. Cheaper than Indian apples. But do we have a guarantee that the United States also lowers its taxes on motorcycles? No, we don't. So now American farmers start making money, Indian farmers lose out, and at the same time, Indian motorcycles still struggle to compete in the United States. That's what reciprocal tariff usually looks like. They force us to open our market so that they can sell their goods here, but keep their own protections intact so that we can't sell our goods as easily. They win, we lose. Here's the thing. I don't think that our diplomats and foreign service folks are idiots. I don't. I would like to believe that they clearly see how bad this deal is for us, at least on a surface level. And honestly speaking, they must be doing a giant PR blitz to say that this is the best deal ever, etc. But people are watching. There are smart people watching and analyzing this, and diplomats know this. So there has to be a reason why they are doing this. I mean, why are they letting Trump's America bully us into submission? There has to be an answer. And I have a theory. It's all because of... Alright, before I begin this chapter, let me tell you explicitly what I'm going to say is a theory. It's not real. It just came out of my own head. It's a theory. I'm putting this forward based on what we already know and what we are seeing that is happening. So what is my theory? It is that India got bullied into making a terrible deal with the United States because Trump used Gautam Adani as leverage over Modi. Diplomatic blackmail. Wild, right? Wild theory. But then when you look at the facts, is it that wild? Okay, let me make my case. Back in November, the US Department of Justice and Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, opened an investigation into Adani Group over an alleged $250 million bribing scheme. I've done videos on that as well. I will leave a link below in case you want to catch up. But this was a giant deal. It was a big deal. The US government just doesn't open fraud investigations against foreign billionaires unless they have some very strong evidence or a strong reason to do this. And all of this was happening just months before Modi's visit to US. Now, here is why this matters. 1. The US and India have an extradition treaty. If things escalate, Adani can actually be arrested. Number 2. This case could wreak havoc on Adani's global empire and the Indian economy. I mean, his companies are involved in ports, energy, airport, infrastructure. I mean, you name it, he's everywhere. Business Sir does business literally everywhere in India and abroad. Israel में भी ports है अभी तो. Number 3, Modi and Adani's ties are not a secret. Basically, Business Sir practically built his empire parallel to Modi's rise. And now, America is holding a fraud case over his head. So since Modi and Adani are kind of interdependent, what does Modi do? He goes to the US and gives them everything they want. Immigrants being sent like cattle? No objection. Bad trade deal? Sure. Overpriced defense purchases with 1,000 restrictions on top of it? Of course. Resistance? What resistance? Kuch nahi, sab le lo. And then when Modi is asked about Adani investigation in the press conference where real questions are asked, remember that? Yeah, this was his answer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Can I ask whether you discussed at all today the case of Gautam Adani, who's one of the wealthiest men in Asia and perceived as an ally of Prime Minister Modi? Prime Minister Modi, have you asked the president to take action on that case? Thank you.
भारत एक लोकतांत्रिक देश है और हमारे संस्कार, हमारी संस्कृति वसुधैव कुटुंबकम की है. हम पूरे विश्व को अपना एक परिवार मानते हैं. हर भारतीय को मैं अपना मानता हूं. दूसरी बात है, ऐसे व्यक्तिगत मामलों के लिए दो देश के मुखिया न मिलते हैं, न बैठते हैं, न बात करते हैं.
Excuse me? Personal matter? I don't know about you, but did you see that microsecond long panic on Modi's face when the name Gautam Adani was mentioned? The bizarre hand movements while he was answering? For a moment there, it felt like he forgot his 56-inch slogan and just went like, oh shit, ye puch liya, oh shit, oh my god, okay. Plus, I don't know, should I give advice to the Prime Minister like this, but sir, I think you need to practice. You need to do more press conferences in India and practice giving answers. It's been a while since you've done this. I mean, you used to be good at this, honestly, before everything. Just saying. But what our Prime Minister is trying to say is that our biggest billionaire who has deep political ties runs entire parts of our economy and is accused of an international bribery scheme. Oh, and is also under the investigation by the US government. Yeah, all of this is just personal matter. Personal matter. Sure, that makes perfect sense. See, if this was any other businessman, I doubt if Modi ji would care. But this isn't just any other businessman. It's Modi ji's business sir that we are talking about. His favorite oligarch. If the Adani investigation continues in the US, all sorts of dirty secrets might come out. Skeletons will start falling out of the Sarkari cupboards in New Delhi, and Modi ji would be left rather red-faced. Not just locally, but internationally. That's bad. So, in conclusion, let me connect the dots of my theory. Step 1. US government opens an investigation into Adani. Step 2. Trump comes to power and uses this as leverage because he's like a deal maker, remember? Step 3. Modi flies to America while simultaneously illegal immigrants are being sent back to India, shackled and like animals. Yeah, that happens. And then he goes on to give them a very sweet, sweet deal on trade and defense without resistance. Step 4. Adani question gets completely brushed aside as a personal matter. And now my guess is that there is going to be a step 5. The US will stop investigating Adani as a favor to our dear leader, but it will always be a tangti hui talwar, you know, on all of our collective heads. The United States now has a permanent pressure point on India. Anytime we act up or try to show our Vishwaguru strength, then boom, they can just bring Adani back into the news. If this isn't diplomacy through blackmail, I don't know what is. I don't. And who is responsible for this? You tell me. Oh, this step 5 ka process has already started, by the way. Trump's administration just made a very convenient change. The United States has paused enforcement of its anti-bribery law, the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, under which Adani was being investigated. According to the Financial Times, this means that cases like Adani's could be quietly dropped or even delayed. Basically, America is saying, just bribe away. हाँ, दे दो bribe. हमारे businessmen just give bribe. Just as long as you're useful to us. Now, this is just a theory. It's not definitive proof, but you have to admit, doesn't it feel like a little too convenient, all the things that have been happening? So it's worth asking, was this visit about India or was this about protecting one man? Also, if one billionaire's legal troubles can influence how India negotiates with the United States, what does that say about our global Vishwaguru standing? I can't. And if I'm correct, if my theory is correct, then this means India didn't just sign a bad deal. We practically got blackmailed into doing it. Thank you so much for watching this video, fellows. Fellows, please do consider subscribing to this channel. I'm going to do a few more videos very soon. If there is any particular thing that you want me to make a video on, please leave it in the comments below. And if you want to support my work, we have merch. Check out our merch store. And yahan pe we have so many new items being dropped. And we have like a Project Anda collection that we have put up as well. Do check it out if you like some nerdy merch. Please do consider supporting this channel and subscribing, and thank you so much for watching.